garden is looking particularly wild this August. I think it's because I let weeds grow really tall in the paths, and there's some big ones like some thistle and some burdock. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to dig up. But it is what it is right now, and I wanted to show you where we were before the big harvest begins. This bed in front has been my cool flowers, and they did really well. This stalk was a little bit behind the other stalk and flowers in the garden, so it's still looking really good. But otherwise, these are all pretty much ready to come out. And that's good, because I'm going to turn this bed over and plant my garlic in it this fall. I don't have a lot of celosia and amaranth, but what I do have is gorgeous. I believe there's a baby blue pumpkin somewhere in here. Let's look. Oh, let's not disturb the bumblebees. Oh, it's hiding back there. This is my sunflower patch. Now, it is beautiful. There are some really gorgeous sunflowers in here. However, my Pro Cuts, the White Light, Gold, and Plum, I think are all the Pro Cuts I planted. I planted them all at once, and I knew I should have succession sowed, and I didn't. And they all were in bloom when I was away at my sister's wedding. So that was a little bit of a bummer, but right now I'm just leaving things for the birds and the bees, and next year I will try to be better about succession sowing those. The corn is finally tasseled. I'm really excited about it. This side is actually ended up being the tallest one, I think, and I don't know if it's just because it's on the east side and it's getting probably more sun than some of the others that are being a little more shaded, or if it's just the variety. This is the glass gem corn, and if we peek through the sunflower leaves over here, you can see I've got one Rouge d'État right there. There's another plant that's kind of vining out the side of the fence there. And this plant here looks like it had squash vine borers. But hopefully that plant will finish ripening. I think it's almost there. So that'll be good. You can see the little baby glass gem corn here. It takes a while to develop, so I'm really hoping that we have time before frost for it to grow and develop more, but I was excited to see it tasseling because I wasn't sure it was going to get there. This is definitely a wild but beautiful part of the garden with all the squash and the corn. This is the melon bed, and I just noticed that my Noir de Carme melons, which I guess look like they're ripe now, but they have gotten some bites eaten out of them, so I'll probably grab those today and just cut those pieces off so we can at least try them. I need to figure out how to know if these are ripe. So, yeah, I know Laura at Garden Answer has a good video on that, so I'll probably go back and watch it. And a lot of these may, in fact, be ripe. I went ahead and stepped over the melon bed. We are now looking at the quince tree. It does look a little rough, so I was worried at some point that it had fire blight, but what I'm thinking it is, after doing some research and stuff, I think this is just from bugs and then burn damage from like the bugs weakening it a bit. But the fruit still seems like it's developing, so I'm hoping we get some this fall. And I need to be better about just taking away the suckers and cleaning out this area, and hopefully doing a beneficial like herbal or neem spray next year. I keep saying I'm going to do that one year. One year I will. I'll let you know. Over here we've got zucchini and some calendula. The calendula is mostly gone to seeds. Calendula seed is so cool. So cool. So I'll probably harvest some of that. And the marigolds are so cute as well. I really love, this is the lemon and tangerine varieties here with the really little flowers. And then I think that's a French marigold mix there that I alternated, and they're super cute. I love them. My zucchinis are doing okay. I mean, I've been getting some zucchinis off of them, but not nearly as many as last year. I'm not sure. It might be the soil here. Maybe I didn't amend it enough, or it could just been the growing conditions were better for them last year. Let's swing around the circle a little bit here, and then we'll go back in the other direction. So this is my edible flower bed. Now, this is the area I have so much Queen Anne's lace in at the paths here, but here we go. So my borage is looking great. I've got some nasturtiums. They've kind of gotten a little shaded out, I think, which is why there's not a lot of blooms on them right now. Plus, it's been a weird, because I wouldn't call it dry. It's definitely not dry right now. We just had 2 days of rain. but it's been like extremes, so it'll be dry for a while and then really wet for a while, and not consistent. So I think that's what's happening with a lot of these. And I obviously haven't made the bench, so maybe next year. I don't want to forget about this bed over here. This has squash in it. So there's definitely spaghetti squash in here, and this one might be almost ready, not quite. I'll show you here. So there's my spaghetti squash. There's some more in there, spaghetti squash. I need to go look through. I don't think the acorn squash or the butternut squash did quite as well as the spaghetti squash. I need to do a more thorough look through, but I'm not like easily seeing any, so they still have a little time, but I gotta get on it. I didn't mention my Queen Line zinnias by the front gate there, but they are lovely as always, so I'm always happy to have planted those. I had planted some nasturtiums and cosmo seeds in this section against the fence there, and they didn't come up, but that's okay. I have some beautiful chard. Here, this is more cool flowers here that have really gone over. I'm going to try to harvest seeds from these nigella, and I might actually, with some of these, especially the nigella and the gomphrena that we're going to get to, I'm going to harvest and hang to dry some of them as well. Let's see. I think this patch of Sweet William here is actually going to bloom next year, and I had to figure out what I'm going to do about that because I had different plans for this space, but I might just leave it and then put other things around them. There's a really cool spider web here. Let's see if you can see it. Can you guys see it there? I'm just leaving that be. Look at this gomphrena. It is so happy. And the phlox here is beautiful as well. It's not quite as thick, and there's some grass in here. But the phlox has been really great in vases this year. I didn't realize how long it lasted. Both the phlox and gomphrena last a really long time in vases, so I highly recommend as cut flowers. Then we've got some rutabaga, which I need to start harvesting faster so we can start eating it, and carrots that we've been harvesting from a little bit, and I think we're going to have to do a pretty big harvest soon. But we're just kind of, we've been eating off of them as we go. There's definitely tomatoes over on that side to harvest. Those are the Finger Lakes Long, and chiapas there with some basil in front of it. Most of my basil has bolted. I keep picking from it anyway, but yeah. And let me walk over there because it looks like we might be getting some mini bell peppers. Yeah, look at that, mini bell peppers. That's exciting. I turned here so you can look at the pumpkin patch. I haven't thoroughly investigated, but I suspect quite a bit of squash vine borer damage in here too. But you can see the pumpkins that we're getting, and they're ripening and they look beautiful, so I'm just letting it go. I think I'm going to switch a lot of things around where they are next year, so hopefully that'll help with the squash vine borers. And to be honest, last year I wrapped pantyhose liners, or like the pantyhose socks I guess, around each of the bases, and I think that worked fabulously. And I didn't do that this year, so next year I will do that again. Continuing on along the side where we left off, actually we probably left off here, we've got some chiapas tomatoes. These are some green beans. I've been collecting like a handful at a time, so maybe at some point I'll have enough. I planted more green beans that hopefully will ripen just before the frost, so hopefully we'll get more. These are King of the North peppers. I had some rot on one of those, it looks like. But some baby ones developing here, so again, hopefully they'll have time. We're kind of in that time where you're not sure. We've got about a month left before our average last frost, but last year we got almost a whole extra month before frost, so we'll see. Look at these beautiful cosmos. Oh, they are so glorious. I love them. And this is my one Nicotiana plant that survived, and it's worth it. It's pretty. I'll definitely try it again next year because I do like it. While we're over here, you can see my Corvachi peppers there. You can harvest them at this point, so they'll turn like more orange and more red, and like most peppers, you can harvest them early and just like that's what green and yellow peppers are. But I think I'm going to leave them a little bit longer. They're a little more green and yellow than I would like. And then if we swing this way, we've got some more tomatoes. I'm going to be coming out with the kids and doing a bunch of harvesting of tomatoes today for sure. And these are our ground cherries here, and I think there's some ripe ones I see. So that's exciting. I'm going to come harvest these as well. I'm really hoping, like those ones are right there. I'm really hoping to get enough to make some jam this year. There is one there that did not survive, but that's okay, because I have 5 more. So I should probably pull that out today, actually. We're coming up on some beauteous flowers. Now, they do look a little bit better from a distance because the Japanese beetles have been intense this year, and it's just that kind of like a lull time for the snapdragons. I actually need to cut a bunch of those to see if they'll reflush. But look at these dahlias. Oh my goodness. I definitely want to save the tuber for this one. It is gorgeous. Now these dahlias I grew from seeds. It was a seed mix from Fruition Seed, and I think they're just designed to be shorter in general. They're not they're not bred for cut flowers, as I understand it. But if I save the tubers, they might actually get taller each year. So I might try, and just, I mean, if I don't try, definitely won't work. So and there we are with my lines of flowers. There, they are so beautiful. I love them so. I'm definitely going to be coming and picking some for bouquets today, as long as the rain holds off some more. Look at this one here. I think this is probably from Unicorn Mix, and it is just amazing. Oh, I did not address my PTP structure there. I kind of just let it go with weeds and stuff, so the peas are all dried on it, and yeah, I'm just gonna need to clean that out. We'll start fresh next year, I think, on that one. I will come back around to the herbs. We got the snapdragons here. Look at these. These are the Madame Butterfly bronze. I think these ones, and the bronze with white. You can see some over here. There's a little bit lighter, and they are so gorgeous. And I think this is the Madame Butterfly red. So my cucumbers, oh, I need to harvest that one for sure, are looking a little bit sad. I feel like they always do this time of year. I'm going to need to clean them out again. I think it's just what happens. So I tried succession sowing this year. I don't think that really helped anything. There were a lot of cucumber beetles this year, so that might have spread some disease. And again, with the weird, like, we just had like 2 days of rain. So it's like from very dry to very wet, and I don't irrigate out here. If we have like a really long dry spell, I might try to water some things, but we're pretty far from a hose or a rain barrel, and so it's really a pain. Those are the silver slicer, if you see them over on the right side there. Those are my favorite. And then I did some salt and pepper pickling ones and some national pickling cucumbers there. Coming back to the side here, these are cosmos, and the plants are looking really lovely, but they haven't bloomed yet. So let's hope they do soon. I think these are my favorite apricot lemonade. They might be just slower than other cosmos to bloom, to be honest. And I've got more tomatoes looking great along the sides here. These are all paste tomatoes with different things in front. This calendula is taking forever to grow. They got some Thai basil in there and some nasturtiums that came up pretty spotty, and I just left it. I am not going to go plant by plant on the tomatoes this morning because I'm hoping to do a different video on that, but they look glorious. This is actually the best I've kept my tomatoes, if that makes sense. I've actually pruned them 2 or 3 times this year, and last year I only pruned them once, and it was like when they were like I couldn't walk through, it was a jungle. So they're looking great. You can see I've let a lot of my basil go to flower. I actually cut back maybe half of it, but I felt bad. The bees and other pollinators love it, and so I didn't want to cut it all back. So I did cut back some, and hopefully we'll have enough that I can just make some more pesto. Along the side here, we've got some more beans. I think these are black beans, so I'm just waiting for them to, I mean, they're forming bean pods, so those are ones we wait to dry and then harvest. I've got some eggplants back here that are looking beautiful. Let's see. Eggplant flowers are so cool too. Look at this. These ones have, oh, this one. This one's probably ready for me to pick. This is not like the big variety, the variety you always see at the grocery store. This is Ping Tung, which is an Asian variety, so they're like longer and skinnier there. Those are pretty much ready for me to pick. So yeah, these ones are doing really well. My Listada de Gandia ones over here are not doing so well, and I think that's because all of those weeds right there are really blocking some of the sunlight. So it looks like I've got one in here. Yeah. These are cannellini beans, and I didn't realize they are climbing, so it's just kind of a mess over here right now. Actually, these are almost ready. I might wait till it's a little drier, and I might take and hang some so they dry of those. So I did try to grow green beans along the fence here, and I have this one plant that's doing great, and I actually need to harvest. Let's see over here. That's looking great. That's like what I intended this whole wall to be like, but I think again it's the weeds on the side. So next year I'm not going to try to grow them up the side of the fence. I think it's too much weed pressure and it's just not working. So yes, there's that. And yes, I still haven't done anything with the thistle, and yes, they're spreading seeds everywhere, and yes, I'm going to be very upset with myself about that next year. Coming through this weedy mess of thistle carefully. Nah. Okay. Here we've got some cabbage that is definitely ready to be harvested. This is Red Express cabbage, and this will mostly be made into pickled red cabbage that we like to put on things like tacos. It is delicious. These are beans that my daughter and I planted just a few weeks ago. They grow pretty fast. They're Jade green beans, and so some of these are looking really, really great, and I'm really hoping we get a decent harvest of beans before the frost. I don't know why this side seems to be doing better than this side. That is interesting though. Okay. This back bed here, I had planted some greens. The arugula has since bolted, and then we've got some like basil for cut flowers that just kind of is hidden in there, and some alliums from earlier this year. So yeah, we'll have to turn that bed over soon. This bed was my ranunculus and anemones, and I just never cleaned it out, so that needs to be done. I got some gorgeous cabbages over here. Let's see if I can figure out what variety this one is. Okay, so the cabbage closest to us is Typhoon, and then we've got Ruby Express, Glory of Vancousin, and then a Mermaid's Tail, which is more of a conical shaped. And I had kohlrabi on the other side, but I think I've harvested all those. Back here we've got the mullein. You can see it makes these really tall spikes. There's still some yellow flowers on the top. And then I've got, okay, so it's so weedy back here. I do have some cosmos. They're looking a little wet and sad though. Some tomatoes that I apparently forgot to tie up, so I should probably address that. And then some more sunflowers, and these ones I planted later. So I did harvest some of these the other day. These are the Pro-Cut Plum, and they are my favorite. So, and there's some other varieties in here too, so I'll probably come harvest that one. That looks like it's perfect for harvesting right now. Yes. Moving this way, actually, yes. Then we'll come to the herbs last. Remind me to come back to the herbs. So my potatoes are looking okay. Like these, it actually looks like they have something. I don't know if it's blight or whatever, but I leave them. These ones I'll leave a little longer. They're the Cayuca Gold. Okay. My sweet potatoes are in here somewhere. Here's one. I did try to weed just directly around them, but I should have come through and just weed these. This is from the hay, I guess. It looks like it's some form of oats, and it does come up really easily. And I just haven't done it, and that's totally on me. Yes, I am a lazy gardener. I basically have a lot of stuff going on. So this is a potato bed we've been harvesting from. I think my daughter tried to get all the Adirondack red. We made some mashed potatoes that were pink, which were very exciting. I'll put a picture in here. And then this is the Adirondack blue on this side, and those died back a little while ago. I feel like they died back a little early, so I don't know how much. I don't think we got as much as I would like to from them. And then on the other side, we've got the red Norlands, which have also died back. They're an early one, so they really need to be harvested. And then the rest of the Cayuca Gold over there, which I'll leave till last. My elderberry has berries. It does have a branch that's dead. I've seen it on another elderberry too, which makes me worry a little bit about something that could be in the soil. What I need to do is just come in here with some clippers and disinfectant so I can not spread anything and take care of that. And I did actually already harvest some berries. I may harvest a few more, and then I'll leave some for the birds. My other elderberries I basically just left for the birds. Some of them have already been completely cleared off, but that's okay. We share. I've got plenty. Okay, this is the onion bed. And look at the cosmos over there. They look beautiful. I'm pretty sure those are seashell cosmos. I've got some like oats in here too. So most of my onions here have flopped. We've actually harvested a few already. I have to say, this is the biggest onions I've grown. I actually pulled a really big one out from right there too. And those were like cluster planted, I guess. It looked like there were 3 right close together there. And so I might just do that next year. That was like easier to plant and everything. So I'm probably gonna come through and harvest these today. They're gonna need to dry, they're all wet, but we'll put them in a dry location. And also haven't addressed that thistle, so yes, again with the Sagittaria next year. You can see the other side of my corn here, and those marigolds. I love that pop of color. I really need to take care of all this, hopefully this fall. Let's come back around to these beds here. So this bed here has my kale and chard around the edge with some calendula. It has this beautiful volunteer multi-stemmed sunflower, and I'm so happy for it. I love seeing it from the house, and I've been harvesting from it. It is not a pro cut, so it does kind of leak pollen, but I don't really mind. I did put some dahlias in the middle. They're struggling a little bit, as are the peas I planted. So I don't know if it's just because it's getting shaded a bit from the Queen's Anne's lace that's crazy in the path there, or what's going on with that. Again, I think my beds, it needs some reworking. I think I need to add some compost, and yeah, because this one and some other, as well as some of the others, have had landscape fabric on them for 2 years now, and I just burned more holes and used the ones I had, and so yeah, I think it needs a little work on the soil. Okay, so I'm here at the herb beds. Unfortunately, it's hard to walk through here because of the weeds. My mower actually broke, my little push mower, and so I was hoping to wait till next year to get a new one. I do have a weed whacker, so I will be coming in at some point with the weed whacker and trying to take care of it that way as much as I can. And then we are going to be putting landscape fabric in paths, hopefully with mulch. Anyway, that's another conversation, but let me show you what's going on with the herbs here. We do have some hyssop. This is Hyssop officinalis, and some anise hyssop, which is I'm saying it wrong. Agastache. I want to say agastache, and then I learned from a flower catalog that it's actually agastache. So it's really pretty though, and you can tell the bees love it. I do have some echinacea in there. It actually did really well for a while. Most of my echinacea is just really sad right now, I think because of the extra moisture. I have a lot of new echinacea in the orchard as well, and so I'm hoping it just focuses on roots right now. My comfrey's doing great, as always. It just loves it here. My little catnip I tried to put in didn't survive, so we'll try that again next year. I have some feverfew that I'm hoping will reseed and come back next year. We'll see. I might try to put some more in this fall. I had some pretty good luck fall planting it over in one of the raised beds. My calendula is being hidden under the Queen Anne's lace. So that is what it is. If we look over this way, I've got my herbs circled. Things are doing well beyond the Queen Anne's lace, and I have some of my culinary herbs as well. So this is the wild August garden. Next step is to do a bunch of harvesting and turn over beds and just prep them so they're hopefully a little bit more ready for next spring.